All right, we're live. What's going on, everybody? Hey, it's Coach Tatum here with Coach Rapinick, and you are not dreaming, guys. We are back with a mid-season check-in episode, kind of just hopping in, kind of see what's going on with everybody. Y'all come in, talk to us. We'll kind of talk about how our seasons are going. But Coach Rap, what's going on, my brother?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Excited to be able to jump on one real quick in the middle of the season. Um, but yeah, it's been a long time. I've missed it. I've
Yeah,
missed
man,
it.
for sure, for sure.
How about you? How
Um,
you doing?
yeah, man, it's good. We're having a great season. We're both having great seasons.
Yeah.
We'll kind of get into that in a little bit, but very blessed to have great players. And you don't have great players, it can be tough.
Absolutely.
Even culture wise, but when everything's vibing, within the locker room, everything is it's great. So, but been blessed. School's been good. You know, kind of had my observation last Friday. My first
Mm,
observation. It's the announced one. It's the easy one. You get out of the way. And you can
right.
kind of breathe through the rest of the first semester. So, got through that. Now, we're kind of chilling now, man. Coming off the bye week.
Yeah. Yeah, we're on the bye week this week. Had a couple walkthroughs actually. But nothing too wild. School year has gone well so far. Um, got some pretty good classes. We hired a new PE teacher, so I think that's probably part of it. When I was the new guy, the last couple of years, I think they gave it me all the crazy kids, but now that we got the new PE teacher, I think he's got all of them. So
There you go.
works out pretty well for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a good school year so far for sure. Been a good school year.
Heck yeah, man. Well, let's go ahead and just let's dive into the season. People coming or in and out. So, um, let you go first. How's the year been? You can kind of go step by step if you'd like, even from camp from last we kind of you know left off.
Yeah, I mean we've been playing some pretty good ball. Um, Defense has been balling all year. Been playing very very well on that side of the ball. Uh, Honestly, offensively, we've been up until last week. We've been fairly underwhelming in my opinion. We scored points. I don't know how many points we're averaging. I think around 30 or something like that. But um, we just we've been pretty successful, but at the end of the day, like as far as the expectation and having a senior quarterback that's been a 3-year starter and a kid who at this point could probably honestly call the offense himself. We expect to be able to do more. We haven't been able to run the ball real well. Last Friday, we ran the ball really well, so that was good to see. Trotter, what's going on? That's been nice. Hopefully, we can continue to build on that. But um, yeah, I mean, it's been we've been playing good football. I would say, if you combine all three phases, but it's never going to be what you want it to be. And I guess that's kind of the reason why we do this is, you want to chase perfection, knowing that you're probably not going to get there. But, um, it's been a lot of fun. This group that we got is a lot of fun to coach. So, looking forward to the rest of the season. But, yeah, I mean, we're 4-1 right now. Had a chance a couple weeks ago to be 5-0. We lost 25-22, and turned the ball over 6 times. So, it just started dumping rain out of nowhere, and nobody was prepared for it, including myself. Um, so that makes it tough, and it was just freak stuff. Like quarterback goes to pull the ball on an RPO and throw it, and the ball just slipped out of his hand. So, um, stuff like that. But it's high school football. It happens to everybody, and we responded, in my opinion, the way that I was hoping that we would respond. And I can't remember how many points we scored on Friday night, but you could tell that the kids were excited to get back out and to show people that that's the week before was not how we play. So that was good to see.
Yeah, likewise. We had a great camp with everything that entails, and felt we put our guys in some really good positions to kind of get going early on. Um, we're 3-1. We're coming off our bye week. We play on Saturday, unfortunately. I'll get into that. I'll have to get into why we play on Saturday in a minute. But first game we played against Atkins. It's a school right down the street. It's a very smart, like technical school. And they have a defensive end that's going to Navy.
Oh wow!
So he's really good. So we beat them, and then we knew we were going to get into our really tough stretch that last year just killed us. And played Salisbury, which is a big rival for me personally, and for Trying to our head coach, him personally, where we've coached before. We're in the same conference as them. Last year they handed it to us pretty good. And came out throwing the ball, man. We just was really good at throwing the ball, and of course we run the ball very well too. So when you put both those together, good things happen. And they hit us in the mouth at a certain point in the game. We were down 9, and our guys, faced adversity for the first time. I mean, even like real adversity, even though we try to put them in situations, it's never real till you're in a game.
Right. It's never.
You don't know how your guys can respond. And we kind of saw some heads down. We kind of saw some open. And we saw some guys, especially one in particular, our wide receiver, Mike Curry, probably our best player. Kate went out and he caught, I forgot how far it was probably 50-yard touchdown. Like right after they scored, we're down 9. That first drive, we come out, throw the ball, touchdown. Right, we're right back at it. Right, so we lifted spirits. We were able to get back into it. Ended up beating Salisbury, and I've never done that. And they were ranked very highly in 2A in state. And the next week plays Forest Hills and again. For Union County, and they're a really, really good team. And they came to our place. And again, we were down. I don't remember how it was now. It's like we were down 14-7 going into halftime, and in that locker room, it was just silent. Right? It was like, what was going on? Right? And our guys, we're trying to cut, all credit to him. He went in there and be like, great halftime speech, and essentially just like, we will win this game. If you guys, bring it, I know y'all can play. Especially when we did the previous week, we can win this game, and our guys came out and we battled. And it's back and forth, and we kick off to them after scoring, and the ball bounces right at the sideline, and their kid just, I don't know, kind of brain fart and just jump on it. And we get it back and go and score, and end up being a really good Forest Hills team. Has like a 4-star wide receiver.
Oh wow!
And like. Yeah, they're a really good team. Ended up beating them and really feeling good. 3-0, really feeling good. But then not this past week we were by. The week before that, we played North Davidson, and it was an emotional game. So we're trying to go to school and all that stuff. And ended up losing by 1. Heartbreaking loss. We got things going late and moved the ball down the field and scored about a minute left. We missed the extra point. We're up 6. And they just go down and they score. And their quarterback, all credit to that kid. He kind of put him on their back, put the team on his back, and went down and scored. And they have like one of the best kickers, I think, probably in the state. Like his brother was Chris Dunn, was at NC State, won the Grocer Award. So the kid's almost automatic. So he made the extra point and they won because the kid scored. The quarterback scored in the time left. We had to chew on that one for a week. Had a really good bye week. It was in and out because weather. Weather in North Carolina has been insane, and you're at the coast, so I know you know it. So just when you can get outside, if you're in the gym, when you're doing things, all the type of stuff. And this week hasn't been much better. Like we might have gotten outside, but our practice field is awful. Like it doesn't drain well at all. So you might have some slipping and sliding. But today's practice was really good. We're getting ready to play High Point Andrews on Saturday. There's 2 schools in High Point up here outside of Greensboro, and both those schools use the same stadium. Both are at home. Bad schedule.
I was going to say, whose idea was that?
Yeah, so both schools are at home. So they play on Friday night, and we'll play on Saturday, like 4 o'clock. So it is what it is.
Fuck.
Yes,
Whose
sir.
idea
So,
was that?
I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, there's weather this week too. So I don't know if they're gonna move the game. They're gonna move Central's game to Thursday, which means we wouldn't be able to play on Friday anyway. So it's still Saturday. Saturday's supposed to be decent. So
Right.
play on Saturday and get
Yeah,
going.
there's
Go
a
ahead.
bunch of games out here that are getting moved too. Obviously, we're lucky enough to not be affected by that, but yeah, there's been a ton that I've seen. I know Joel with High School OT posted something. I think it was last night, and I started scrolling through it, and there's a game that our staff is going to watch, and that one got moved to Thursday also. So gives me the Friday night off, I guess, because we were going to give the kids Friday off anyway. So worked out pretty well.
Yeah. I thought I was gonna get I probably will because like last week went and saw some games. I was talking about a topic on that a little bit later, but then saw a game on Friday, and then probably gonna see another game on Friday. Whatever just that hasn't been moved,
Right.
but that's moving schedule. It's not like a little bit of rain. People aren't moving stuff. Apparently, it's supposed to be some decent weather.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be getting like somewhere around 3 inches out here. I think that's over the course of like Thursday and Friday. I mean, I haven't looked since I looked the other night, and obviously when you're playing, like I said, we're on a bye, so Friday doesn't necessarily affect us, but I would have been looking a lot harder if we had a game. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where it's coming from. I think it's some kind of tropical storm or something like that we got coming, or I don't know.
Yeah, I thought I saw something from the Gulf. We're not supposed to get like hurricane or tropical storm like effects from it, but it's supposed to be a lot of rain. So I don't know. Weather it sucks right now in September, but hopefully October will bring some new things.
Hopefully,
Just some dry weather.
yeah,
But
fact.
yeah. If you're watching, guys, again, it's Coach Rapp, Coach Tatum here. We're doing a little mid-season check-in, kind of talking about what we've been doing the last couple months since we were last live. If you were watching and you were coaching, make sure you drop what your record is, how your season's been going, good or bad. We want to hear about it. Kind of just loving kind of hanging out. Our boy Trotter, he posted on there about being too long. It really has.
Yeah,
So he was supposed to play with Salem Prep, which is right near our school, pretty much too.
right.
But they don't have a field, so they pretty much have to rent out a field wherever, and couldn't find one. So they're having to play back down there where he is. And I'm like, dang, I'm gonna go to that game, see my man Trotter.
Oh, you know what? I remember him saying that now.
So yeah, it is what it is. But let me ask you this question, because this has been happening more and more, especially in our region. I know y'all at the beach, and everybody. The vibe's great. No, there aren't any issues. There aren't any issues out there.
Depends on how we're looking at the current time.
That's true. But I've been seeing games being postponed, games being suspended or stopped due to fans, extracurricular things, whether it be in parking lots or in the stadium. It's not new, right? But this past Friday, 2 instances happened that I know of for sure. That one I was there personally to see. Another one I saw on Twitter. One I saw on Twitter was the Mallard Creek West Charlotte game, and I don't know all the details, but essentially Joe Bryant put on Twitter a video of fans running like crazy. Right? I don't know if it was fights, whether somebody had a weapon or something like that. I don't think it was a weapon, but like something that was dangerous. Could be considered dangerous. People kind of running crazy. And then at the game that Tripp and I were at, we went to West Charlotte. We went to West Forsyth at Mount Tabor, and there were people everywhere because so many people were off. So many people had bye weeks in the city, so they went to that game. And there's just kids everywhere, not even in the stands. Lots of people in the stands, lots of people just around, and several fights popped off. It's crazy that happens. Just a lot of kids standing around, not a lot to do. Don't really care about the game, which is nothing new. But people start saying stuff slick. start taking things personal, and then fights happen. So there are probably like 4 fights that happen, kind of like start out here, kids run away. Fight happens over here, kids run away. And I think it got more to the point where kids had more fun running away and screaming than anything. And pepper spray was used and all that stuff. But play never suspended. It was hilarious. Like fights are happening, police are running around, but like they were still playing on the field. That was kind of funny. But it's sad that a lot of this has happened. I don't know if you know any instances on the eastern side of the state of this stuff happening, but it's definitely happened in a more often than I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of any in our area. Now, when I was in Virginia still, it was I don't want to use the word prominent because that kind of sounds disrespectful. Um, and it happened often.
Yeah.
And location and all that stuff doesn't matter. I think for me, it's more about obviously everything that's going on in the world and stuff like that. That's a conversation for a whole nother, not here.
Yeah.
But I think that as coaches and as teachers, people who work with young kids, and honestly, as a father, it's tough for me to see and hear about all that stuff because you want what's best for your kids, whether it be the kids that you coach, the kids that you teach, the kids that you're a parent of, or whatever the case is, and exposing kids to everything. I mean, just being fully transparent, but all the stuff that kids are exposed to these days obviously doesn't help the situation. And whatever it could have been like, oh, well, he, posted something on Snapchat of me, or, whatever the kids are fighting and arguing about these days. But at some point, and I don't know what needs to be done, but at some point, like we got to say, like, okay, how much does this social media or whatever the case is actually matter? Like we have kids who have put in all the work that football players across the country put in, who want their families or their friends or whatever the case is to come watch them play. And all these people, even the ones who are doing right, are being removed from games. And now those kids aren't getting that. Like we get 10 nights a year. Our kids get 10 nights a year that they work for, well, guaranteed 10 nights, obviously, but that they work for year round. And there's people that come to games that are so selfish that they have to, ruin what these kids have done. And, whether the kids on the field are involved or not involved, or, you could take it so many different ways. But at the end of the day, like, why is a Friday night football game or anything like, why is that the best place for, this stuff to happen? I'm sure based on what you said, I know your wife goes to the games. Like my family's at the game. There's kids running around at the game. Like all this stuff is happening where there's all these people who come to support a team or to support their community or whatever the case is. And, we can't even have the high school football game without all these things happening. And, obviously there's so much stuff going on, whether it be politics or whatever the case is that, again, I'm not going to talk about, but at the end of the day, like when I think of high school football, I think of like one of the purest forms of anything, Friday night, you just can't beat it. But all this stuff is happening that puts a bad light on going to a high school football game to support your community or to support your players or your students or whatever the case is. It's just sad, man. I don't know another way to put it. But it's sad. And I think our admin and, our athletic director and all that stuff do a really good job of watching and really having ears out for situations like that. Um, and obviously I'm not involved. I don't know exactly what's going on during the game for them to police that stuff, but I know that we have a lot of sheriff's deputies and police officers and things like that at our games, and I feel extremely safe. Uh, and I think our kids do as well. Hopefully, the people at our games do, but yeah, man. I mean, it's sad to see, and I think that I can't remember exactly like to quote what the head coach at Mallard Creek said, and I've never met the guy. Um, but I think he said it best that like it's getting to the point where something needs to be done, and the answer is not no more fans at high school football games. That will never be the answer.
Yeah.
I've been at a game a couple years ago that I was coaching in that had some pretty bad stuff going on in the parking lot, and they made everybody leave. And this was right before halftime. And my son was, oof, I mean, he might have been a year old. Uh, and they stopped the game and told everybody they had to go. And I mean, I didn't care about the game anymore. I I was walking my wife and my son to the car, and my AD wound up walking them out. The AD at the time, and I just it's sad. It's sad to see all that because I know for me, like it feels good to look over and see my family there and stuff like that. And I don't want them to be in a position where them coming to watch us play could put them in danger.
I know, I know districts have done a really good job with ramping up security. There'll be more deputies there,
Right.
a higher sense of presence. Metal detectors, doing that. I mean, it's pretty much standard across the board now.
Right.
Um, I know about 2 years ago, my wife Taylor and I went to a basketball game. We went to go see our kids at North Rand play. It's a Christmas classic at Catawba College. They didn't have this before, like the huge movement for metal detectors, and somebody had a gun and like actually like discharge rounds, and like trying to just help kids, trying to stay safe and all that stuff. It's crazy, and so the fact that we have this protection now with metal detectors and more security, it's great. Like you said, I don't want it to be where we're like it's COVID and we're sitting there in front of nobody. Because that's, I mean, because like we have a good crowd at Walkertown, but that game at North Davidson was packed, and that game we went to last Friday at Mount Tabor was packed. And like when a play happens and the crowd goes crazy, there's no feeling like it. And every kid that puts in the blood, sweat, and tears every year should experience that. And they earned it. Yes, I mean, good or bad. Like there's something to be said. Like when old boys scored on us at the end of the game, it sucked. But that place went nuts on their sideline. Like it sucks in the moment, but you gotta sit there and look like up at the crowd and looking around, like people going crazy. It's like, dang, at the end of the day, it kind of is awesome. Like it's awesome atmosphere. So 100%. I don't know the answer. Just something to talk about because it's happening. One thing I will say is we went to Elon, took some kids to Elon. Elon played East Tennessee State, and there's a lot of people there too. There was no detectors, but like no, there wasn't any metal detectors. Yeah, there was. There were people patting people down,
Right.
but like there was like I don't feel like there was any like thought of like something crazy happening.
Right.
And I don't know if it's because it's a different level. There's less kids unaccompanied. I don't know. So,
Right.
but
Yeah, I mean, obviously the metal detectors give you peace of mind and stuff like that, but I don't know, and God forbid it happened, but I think more the issue is not necessarily. I mean, obviously it's a huge issue if something like that was to happen, but I think we see more of kids just I don't know the best way to put it. Acting crazy isn't necessarily the best way, but I mean, kids that just go there to fight or go there to, do whatever. And I mean, I've seen multiple times that things happen in the stands. I mean, I've been a part of games where like I said, everybody gets sent out, and I've been a part of games where the game just keeps going. So, it's tough. It's tough, because I think a lot of the time too, like the kids on the field may not they might not have known about it before it happened, but they know real quick who it was or what's going on or all that stuff. So then it's an added distraction and all that. So I don't know, man. It's sad to see that starting to happen more frequently. Like I said, I've been places that it happens very frequently, but I think that it's obviously, the bigger the school you're at and stuff like that, there's more chance of it happening just because of the amount of people coming to games. But um, it's just it's sad to see that, and I hope that it just ends and there doesn't have to be any kind of extreme measure taken to make it end. But I mean, I know like for us, and I don't know why necessarily, but they have like middle school age kids have to bring an adult. I don't know if that meant that like middle school age kids were the main reason or what it was, but I know that's a fairly prominent thing from what I understand, at least.
I'm gonna get ready. Trotters comments said they started out 1-3. They started out 0-3. Then the 1-3 now. They won last week 30-28 to be 1-0 in the conference. I watched the film from Coach's game, and they blocked a field goal at the end. And that was huge for Coach Trotter and his program and his kids because, as he says here, a lot of injuries and growing pains with a young, inexperienced team. Uh, as somebody last year that was a part of one of those young, inexperienced teams, trying to put things together, and Coach knows this. He's been a part of great teams. Like it's going to pay dividends down the road.
Ain't no doubt.
And everybody. I mean, stay the course, hold the standard, and I love one of my favorite lines ever is those that stay will be champions, and doesn't have to mean wins and losses. I mean like actual rings on your finger. It means that you will be better. In my opinion. So 100% love. Charles our guy. Love what he's doing. See, hey guys, y'all know about Coach Trotter. First off, I think it's 2 or 3 videos of just him talking ball, and he's been on the podcast multiple times. My man lost his quarterback and installed a single wing offense at halftime or whenever it was, won the ball game. That's coaching, and I know that's our guy, but I'm gonna toot this one right there real quick. Big ups for Coach Trotter.
I've scored a couple points on plays that he's taught me this year. So
that's the thing right there, man. That's the thing. Coaches helping coaches, man.
That's right.
Coach, I know this is kind of maybe a loaded question. Might take you a second to think about it. What's the biggest thing you kind of learned about your team so far? It could be negative. It could be not negative, but like it could be something like, "Hey, we need to work on this," or "Hey, we need to get better at this," and then like a positive side of it too.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think that we have a bunch of guys who just love to play football. I mean, obviously it's easy to say like I love football, whatever. But when things go wrong, how much do you really love it? And you find out, like I said, we lost not last week, the week before, we were losing 19-0 at half. And I went in the locker room, I said, guys, I don't even remember exactly what I said, but basically said that, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Like, we have to find a way to play together for 2 quarters and let's see what happens. Basically, something along that line is what I said. And, we came out and found out that we were pretty resilient. And, I think so much stuff. And I think Saban said it like microwave culture, right? Like, everything has to happen right now. And so much, it's so easy that so many kids just kind of quit when things aren't going their way or, when you're down 19-0 at half and, we've turned the ball over as many times as we had. And, it gets to the point where you got to kind of dig your feet in and decide what kind of team you're going to be. And I mean, as poorly on offense, at least as mediocre as we were the 3 weeks before that on offense, we came out firing and in the second half of the game a couple of weeks ago, and we kind of found out like, okay, we got a pretty good team, you know. But I think we got a bunch of guys who genuinely love playing football, and I think they genuinely love playing together. That's a big emphasis for me is like I will wear every 15-yard penalty that we get for excessive celebration as long as it's together. If the kids want to come up with some crazy like touchdown dance when somebody scores, if they're celebrating together, I'm in. And I told my AD and my principal that like if it's not meant to be disrespectful, they're just having fun together. So that's a big thing for me is do it together and I'm fine. But yeah, I really think that our kids love playing together, and it shows, with the way that we block for each other. The way we block on the perimeter is been the best I think I've ever coached. Just really high effort guys. We're not going to run by a ton of people or do anything crazy, but we just do our job and take a lot of pride in it. So, what about you?
Before I get to me, I want to answer show Charter's answer. He says Friday they showed me they refused to quit. Lost our quarterback. We were already down our starting wide receiver and right tackle. We were losing at half. The fourth straight game, they didn't quit, and they rallied around each other and fought until the end. And that's all. Like you said, that's all you can ask for is they doing tough things together, right? Finding a way, finding the will to win. Because if you do that, you're going to win more than you lose. I firmly believe that you're going to win more than you lose. There might be a talent gap. There might be they have players in positions that we don't have players, but if we're together, it's better than their individuals.
No doubt.
So 100% he says true team win. Pick six, passing touchdown, field goal, keep return for a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. He has a full, complete win.
No doubt. All of
them. Yeah. Biggest thing, and I kind of want to echo some things, man. I feel like just the way things maybe have happened last year and kind of on the transition to a new coach, stuff like that, I feel like our guys kind of bought into just being like together. I mean, we Honeycutt, he started a hashtag, and it's kind of a thing that we kind of talk about all the time is we got us, right? We don't, wait for outside, help. We don't, seek it. We don't try to, fake anything. Like we got us. We at the end of the day, we don't need anybody else because no one's gonna help us. I mean, so at the end of the day, lock arms and let's try to make it happen. And our guys really have embraced that. And I think, especially, and I talked about my group, like my group up front. It's very, very special, and they were asking me today. I don't know where it came from. I guess I've been posting more like on my social media like that. I've been posting like all the groups I've had throughout the years, and I love my kids so much. So like that's why I want to keep that. I never forget about them. I try to check in as much as I can. I don't do it nearly enough if I need to, especially my older groups. But like they asked me today, it's like, hey, Coach, are we the best group you've ever had? And kind of think about it, and I don't want to give them a straight up answer because I don't want to go to their heads or nothing.
Right.
But they're really good, and they play together. If there's things happen that's bad, they can diagnose it, and they can come and tell me what they're seeing, and we can talk about it, and we get things fixed. They want to finish. I keep a pancake total, and we. They're gonna eat me out of house and home because like we go like my coaching staff in Princeton is going towards feeding these jokers
it could be worse.
Yeah, like so I have 10 of them, on varsity, and we set a goal, a pancake goal for 20 game one. They got the 20, like around the dot. So we did wings for them on that next Thursday after walkthrough, and then we beat Salisbury, and I think we got a McDonald's. That's what we did, and then we beat Forest Hills, and I can't remember what we did. I think we got cookies and all type of stuff. I don't know. We got our stuff for them. We didn't win last 2 weeks ago, so we didn't do anything for them, but we still calculate as pancakes. And they have taken and embraced finishing like any team I've seen. Like they look to get pancakes like safely. They're not just like sometimes they just throw them, but um, they look to do those things. And like, hey, if a guy's blocking, on pass pro, and they're coming, smash a guy from the side and try and knock him down. Like they're looking to be, balls. Like,
Oh, I love it.
and it's awesome. And if you're listening to this and you want your guys to play hard and you want them to finish, you have to incentivize it. You have to stress it. And I think that we've done a great job of doing that. The kids, on their credit, have bought in. And of course, getting a meal on Thursday for walkthrough is a great incentive. Some people can't do that. Some people can. If you can, great. It doesn't have to be wings. We got Wingstop. It doesn't have to be wings.
Right.
Go get some brownie mix, make some brownies. It takes a little effort. But I just love how much the kids are buying into what we're doing, and anything that I try to coach them on, maybe years past or groups past that I've had, there might be a little pushback, or Tatum's already said this before, or he's staying on us. We have a little bit of that, but it's because I have 4 out of 5 seniors, so
Right.
they are good players. So they have seen a lot of the stuff, so it's kind of reiterating a lot. But I just love how much they bought into what we're trying to do. We're on a roll. We dropped the last one by Philip. We're gonna get back at it Saturday. Keep picking it up. Haven't put a goal on it. I'm probably gonna come up with something tonight. Put a goal for to kind of pick the energy back up going into this week. So love that, man. I love what I've seen from our guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously some kids get it, yours do. They don't realize a lot of the time what kind of like thought that puts into not only just like the other team, but like coaching staff. You know what I mean? If you're watching film and you watch kids in pass pro that are looking for work, and the work that they find is to earhole somebody, like teams are thinking about that. Obviously players are thinking about that. If you got a guy who's like a speed rusher, and he sees on film where it happens to him earlier in the game where he just gets absolutely earhole, he's going to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Everybody's job's going to be a little bit easier. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing better, and we started to do it last Friday night. There's nothing better than watching an O lineman chase a play down and find work down the field that involves a pancake. I mean, I don't know of something that like gets me more juiced up than something like that. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna read out what Charter said. Then we talk about something else. Pregame speech Friday was to finish every block, every tackle, and finish every play, finish every drive, finish everything. That's it. I mean, and even for recruiting, college coaches want to see that. They want to see a level of commitment. They want to see a level of finishing, and that's what it is, man. Like nothing. You're never gonna go wrong finishing a play. Like, and if you get a hold or you get a personal foul, something like that, because of an effort, coaches are not gonna be mad at all. Like, now something stupid, yeah. But if you're, I don't know, like you said, if you celebrate as a team and get, like that, like you're not gonna get upset. If you're getting like if you pancake a guy and we don't do this much here because I know the rules and referees are different now. But when I was at Tallwood in Virginia Beach, I have whenever we were pancake, I used to have them like surf on a guy. We used to do that, like, and my God, that was another incentive to get them to want to do it. Because
Right.
I would point it out on film, and they would laugh, and they would put on their Instagram stories. Oh, they would love it. Now you can't really do that because they'll throw a flag on it because it's taunting, I guess, whatever they want to call it, personal foul.
Right.
But we still point out those things. Like
Right.
if you pancake a guy and you get up a certain way, like I'm not going to say exactly how it is, but yeah, but kids love it and like they play better. But what I was gonna say is this is a subculture, and I feel like if you're a position coach, you don't have that subculture of a position group on your team, you're doing yourself a disservice. And all it is just making your guys feel wanted and a part of a group. And I guarantee you 100%, your guys are gonna play harder. They are. Like either you are a jerk and they don't like you, and nothing what you do, they're gonna nothing whatever you do, nothing's gonna work. Or like they're gonna buy in and they're gonna love like you as a coach. They're gonna want to play harder. That's what I found. Like I've only coached OLDO, so I know we're different. But I guarantee you, if you're a receiver coach and you come up with a name for your for whatever it is, think of something stupid that skill guys like. And if you buy into that and like you go create a hashtag and do whatever it is like these kids like, they'll work harder. I guarantee it. If they don't, they don't want to play football. Like they just don't care. So if anybody has any questions about that stuff, please reach out to me because I'm big on that.
Yeah.
I probably have a video on that soon.
One of the things that we started, and I stole it from ODU, is like our offense. Anytime we do anything offense, and the quarterbacks have kind of run with it now. And honestly, I guess it's kind of like gotten into the whole team.
Yeah.
Is like showtime is our thing.
Okay.
And I tell the kids, you know, when we are kind of installing stuff, you know, anytime we're talking offense, whether it be, you know, we finished team and now we're switching to defense or whatever the case is, like we want to put on a show. We want to light the scoreboard up. We want to throw it all over the place. We want to, you know, bury people in the run game and stuff like that. So we break it out to showtime, and like all of our kids, like they just kind of run it. You know, they have run with it, and they seem to take a lot of pride in it. But I mean, like pregame, all that stuff, showtime is what we say. And you know, the offense coordinator ODU did it when I was there, and you know, obviously we put on the show a lot of the time because we scored a lot of points. But you know, they take a lot of pride in that, and you know, walking down the sideline and stuff like that right before the game, all the kids are like, "All right, it's showtime, time to go." So that's cool. You know, obviously, kind of as a head coach, that's one of the things that I really miss is, you know, being able to come up with something that my position group. And I mean, I still coach quarterbacks and DBs, the most overweight DB coach in the history of football. But, you know, that's something that I really miss doing, you know, especially like in film. You know, like you mentioned that when your kids get pancakes that you make a big deal of it. Like I remember watching film with the O-line at Norview and like leaving film in my hand hurting from hitting the desk so hard. Like every time we had kids get pancakes. And it's just like little stuff like that looking back, I'm like, was it necessary to hit the desk? Absolutely not. But if it gets your kids excited about it and, you know, want to finish a block, you know, whatever the case is, like that's part of being a good football coach, in my opinion, is finding a way to motivate your players. whether it be as a position coach or a coordinator or, a head coach or whatever the case is. Like, to me, that's 99% of what we do. You can know everything about football that, anybody does, but I think, the better you are at more motivating, obviously, the more you're going to get out of them. But I think that it makes your job a lot easier in the long run.
Coach Fawcett, appreciate you coming on and hanging out, Coach.
What's up, Coach? How are you?
And Charter says I was the biggest wide receiver coach over a lot of years.
I'm not going to lie to you. So we had a DB coach and then didn't have a DB coach. And now, the new PE teacher we hired at the school is coming on and hasn't coached football before, but he's doing a really good job of learning how we do it. And doesn't want to be in a position where he's not teaching things the way that we need them taught, which I'll take 100 times out of 100 because I'd rather it be that than the other way around. So I've just kind of run with the DBs. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of having fun coaching them. We're creating turnovers. We got a couple of interceptions so far this year, and I never coached DBs before this year, but it's a lot of fun.
See, I know myself. If I was a coach in another position, I would jump wholeheartedly into it, and I would be so pumped up, and I would try to do everything I do with O-line with that, and like in a different way, obviously to cater to that position. But I know I would just be like looking over at the O-line.
Oh yeah, I do it whether we're on offense and I'm with the quarterbacks, or whether we're on defense and they're running scout team or inside round or whatever. Yeah, I mean it's cool, and I think we've talked about it on here before. Like, there's some times that I just kind of wish, like, man, I wish somebody could just take the quarterbacks for a little while. Like, I just want to go down there and, my line coach does a phenomenal job, but he can't get to practice until closer to 4. So there's some times like we'll be in pre-practice and quarterbacks are running pack and go and settle a noose, and I'm down there with the O-line just loving life again.
Yeah.
And I see that truck pulling in the parking lot, and I'm like, daggone, man, we had a good run. I enjoyed it, but I definitely miss it. Definitely
put them on the sled. Hey,
receivers on this sled, I love it.
Hey, it's funny. So the way we work, obviously we go, we'll go like today. We had varsity offense, JV defense. So on a normal day, like I'll do my indie. I'll be in the chute and I'll be on the sled and doing my stuff and working double teams, blah blah. And I literally, like, it's almost like a rotation now because I know, hey, I go to the chute, we do steps on boards, then I go, and while I'm doing that, I know either the D-line coach is coming over from the sled because he knows I'm going to go to the sled next, so he needs to get there first, or the linebackers coach comes and they do sled work, working on shock and shed and all that stuff. Yeah. And like we kind of have a rotation down there, and I have my speaker up on the chute, and I'm blaring, good music, and we're it's a vibe. That's funny he said about the sled because hey, I don't want to hear nothing about sled work. Putting kids on the sled, let them hit something. I mean, you cannot hit your own guys all the time.
Yeah,
like you can, but realistically, hit the sled. It's an inanimate object. It won't get hurt. It won't hurt its feelings. Hit it. Have good drills. Don't just do the same thing over and over again.
Right.
But I'm a big sled guy.
There's a big difference between driving the sled 50 yards and maybe you're working like covered, uncovered steps on the sled, something like that. There's a very, very big difference. Yeah. So just my opinion.
No, 100%. Something I want to ask you, and I know Trotter's on here, and anybody else that is on here listening, please tap in. Just comment. It comes straight to us. We'll get you on there. But I want to ask you first. We're talking about motivation and culture like that. How, because you've been in all 3 levels of coaching, how different is motivating a position group versus motivating on the side of the ball versus motivating a whole team?
I think a position group is easier and harder. And the reason why I say that is because it's easier in the sense that you're with the same group of guys every day.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is it's harder because they hear the same thing over and over and over again every day. Um, I think, when you get into the entire team part of it and motivating an entire team, um, I think you really have to rely on your leadership on the team, player wise, and you really have to rely on your coaches to help with instilling your culture, but also making sure that they're taking care of motivating their position group as well. Now, I think there's things that you can do as a coordinator and as a head coach. One thing that we did last year when we got into a little run where we were 0-3, and we played senior night was our last game, and we were 5-0 to start the season, playing pretty good ball. Um, and then we lost the next three, and we were getting ready for senior night. And one of the things that we did at ODU, our offensive line coach did, Bill D, RIP, GOAT in Virginia. He used to do the power of the positive, and he would make a cut up of practice film, game film from the previous week. And I want to say it was Thursday night he showed that cut up to the team, to the O line. So when we got to that 0-3 run, for some reason I thought about him, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should try this. So we watched film on Mondays after we got done with film of I can't remember who the last team we lost to was. I pulled up clips of us when we were 5-0, or when we were undefeated, whether it be week 1, week 2, any of those games. And it wasn't anything like, it wasn't a whole lot of plays, but it was a lot of plays where we would score, whatever the case is, and you're watching the entire offense come running to the end zone to go celebrate with their team. Or something where, like, we won a game in overtime. Kid caught a ball, and I have no idea, still to this day, what the corner was doing, but we caught a slant route and scored in overtime to win the game. And you just see on film the entire team running on the field to go celebrate. So yes, good plays, but more of like, this is who we are. We are not the 0-3 team. Let's get back to who we really are, kind of thing. And I think motivating kids, now is so much harder. I think we've talked about this too. It's so much harder to find ways to motivate them. Um, in my opinion, it's a lot harder than it was like when I was playing. I felt
Yeah.
like, you know, you were motivated by the fact that you could play on Friday night and get that feeling that you had. And I mean, I don't know if kids get it anymore or not, obviously, but I mean, I still get that feeling on Friday night. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think you have to be able to play the mind game, for lack of a better way to put it. And I think what I mean by that is, whether it be something that you're trying to correct with your team, or, maybe individual players that you want your captains to take care of, or your leadership on the team, or whatever the case is. I think you have to be able to understand a little bit of how kids work. Um, and I think that's what makes teachers such good coaches a lot of the time, for the most part, is because they are with kids so much, so they understand them, how they work a little bit more. But I would probably say that the position group's the easiest. Now, the side of the ball, I kind of look at that as like an extension of the things that you do with your position group. Especially as an O line coach by trade, you have almost half the offense in your position group. So a lot of those things are easy to carry over, to the rest of the side of the ball. And I think it's a lot harder Well, obviously I don't know, but I think as an offensive line coach, I think it's a lot easier to be able to motivate the entire team because honestly, in the grand scheme of things, offensive line is not the position that a lot of people want to play. So if you can motivate a kid to play O line, then you can probably motivate a receiver to play receiver or a DB to play DB or whatever the case is. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of it is leadership on the team, your captains, and your assistant coaches. But I think with the assistant coaches, a lot of it's buy-in. They have to truly believe in and take pride in what you're preaching. Um, and it's really hard to find guys like that. I have two guys on my staff and really three who I know that when I'm not around, they're preaching what I hope they are. Um, and that's why you got to hold on to them as hard as you can because they don't come around easy.
No, they don't. Trotter says, he says position group, you know them better. You spend some time with them, and you know their personalities. That 100%, like the personalities thing, like of course there's way, hey, I know this kid's skill set. I know he's good at to keep it O line. He's good at pulling. He's good at down blocks. He's good at pass pro. He's not great at pulling. Like, okay, maybe we need to call more runs like to him. He's not, we're gap scheme. He call more runs to him because he's not a great puller.
Right.
But that personalities are huge. And the same thing with teaching. It's knowing how they learn, what motivates them, what's their favorite things, what do they not like, how do they want to be coached. Because hey, an underrated aspect of coaching is how do kids want to be coached. And there's non-negotiables. There's things you're going to have to do, right? But I know some kids, they want to be, not yelled at, but like they want you to get after them, right? They tell me exactly what I'm doing wrong. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't bring it. Don't beat around the bush. Get it to me now so I can get better.
Yeah.
Some kids, they want it more analogies. They want it to be more, kind of help them get to the solution. So that some kids, you need to talk to them like it's a pitcher in the bottom of the ninth. Like, hey man, just get us home. Let's get this done, right? And then a little bit of motivation, a little bit of coaching, keep it pushing, right? Don't talk too much to a certain kid.
Right.
I have all of those.
Oh yeah. You gotta pull them to the side. Like there's so many different, and again, like I feel like I sound like an old man, like saying it this way, but I remember when I was playing, it didn't matter which one of those you were, everybody was getting jumped. You know what I mean? You're getting called out in front of the entire team, and they're basically going to tell you in a way that's just trying to embarrass you. And that's what worked, because like I vividly remember we were doing tackling circuit one day. I think it was my sophomore year of high school. And there was a kid that was in the same station that I was. And him and the other kid did the drill or whatever. And it was not very physical. And I remember the coach running the station was like, son, everybody on the team just watched that. I just want you to think about that for a minute. And like we all just started dying laughing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just how it was. And it's definitely tough, especially when you get new kids, obviously. You have no idea what to expect and how they need to be coached. And, but I really think that everybody says like they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Like if your players know that you love them, you can really get after them a lot more than you would if it's a kid that is new or who has trouble with your coaching style or whatever the case is. Like, and I'm not just saying like tell them that you love them, which I mean I'm a big believer in that too, but like it's the way that you treat them and the way that you are around them and doing things to help them and their family and whatever, all the things that are not on our job title that real coaches, in my opinion, do. Um, but at the end of the day, like it's it's a lifestyle to be able to be a coach like that. Um, and I take a lot of pride in that.
So do I. And I tell my kids I love them all the time. And the biggest thing is when they tell you, like you didn't say it or they're leaving, and it kind of takes you aback and
Yeah.
kind of makes you like, oh dang, that's cool.
No
Um,
doubt, no
'Cause they
doubt.
care. All
Hmm.
right, Charter says my first year as a coach, I coached everyone how I wanted to be coached. I made 3 players cry. I learned not everyone wants or needs to coach, challenging them constantly.
Yeah,
100%. Had a senior last year when I got here, towards 3/4 of the way through the season, he kind of told me he's like, I don't like being yelled at, and not a soft kid at all.
right,
He's like, tell me what I need to know. You don't have to yell at me,
right,
right? And that's because I was fired up, and I'm just kind of like, they got this, and this. And he was kind of like, he wasn't even do it for everybody. And he was just like, I don't want to be yelled at. Like I don't like just tell me what I need to do.
right.
Right? And so I took that to heart, and I coached that kid differently, right? And I'm not like I'm yelling at everybody, and then him, I'm like, okay,
Right,
like you do this, like no, it's just like, hey, like I get up next to him, it's like this is what happened, and this is what needs to happen, and then we kind of coach it like that,
right.
and we move on. Like it's not a dialogue; it's me talking, you go do it. So, but 100%.
Yeah,
But
I think a
yeah,
lot of it too is like, I know for me and really like our program, I I love coaching football. Like I enjoy teaching a lot of the time, but I love coaching football. And I think a lot of our kids have to learn, and I don't mean to say have to learn, but they learn as they're around our program and doing things with our program that I yell a lot.
yeah,
But yelling for me isn't always a bad thing.
yeah,
Like I yell because I get jacked up when people do stuff well, like um and that kind of goes back to like how I ran film when I was at Norview when I was coaching O line. Like I'm yelling in the classroom while we're watching film, and not because we're doing things poorly. I'm yelling because we're burying people. We're putting linebackers 15 yards down the field. Like that gets me juiced up. That makes me yell. Um, so I think one of my friends said, you know, they need to make sure that they listen to what you're saying and not how you're saying it sometimes. Um, and I think that's the truth is like, just because you're yelling doesn't mean that you're angry about something. Um, I'm the same way in the weight room. Like I yell good, but if we're hang cleaning, like if it's a good rep, I'm gonna yell about it. It's just how I am. I don't know why.
yeah.
Um, Sometimes it's sarcastic, but I'm gonna yell. I enjoy yelling.
Mhm.
So this it's a interesting thing sometimes. I think if you watch our practice, a lot of the times there's some people that aren't yelling, and then there's me that's always yelling. It's just I just get jacked up about coaching football.
Yeah. I love it. I teach sixth graders for those that don't know, and I talk loud. Like I have, they call your presentation voice. And a long time through my whole life, I mumble. I do like the piece of skin that's underneath your tongue. Like I forget what it's called, but it's larger on my tongue. It's all the way up my tongue, so it catches and I mumble. It happens. But when I talk loud, or I'm presenting and I talk louder and with purpose, I don't mumble. So I do that a lot more, right? Especially when I'm teaching, because I hate repeating myself. So like,
Me,
so my kids will be like, "Coach Tatum, why are you yelling at us?" And I'm like, I'm not really yelling. I'm just kind of like enthusiastic about what we're talking about today, and
yeah,
I want you to be able to hear me. And if these guys over here are kind of talking, and I need to be louder than them, then yeah, I'm going to be louder, right? Plus, if they hear me getting louder, they get quieter. So that's also a motivation. So, um, it's funny. Like my sixth grade, like, coach, we're not your players, and I'm like, I understand that, but you also can hear me, right? It's clear, we got it. So
Nobody can say that they didn't hear what I was saying.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that part of it.
Yeah, we went so Friday, for those of you who don't know, I went in the press box. Yes, I am the head coach. Yes, I also call the offense. Went in the press box for the first time as a head coach to hopefully see some things a little clearer, be able to put our guys in a better position when it comes to play calling. And our bookkeeper at the school was at the game on Friday night, and she was sitting, I guess, directly under or in front of the press box. And today I went down there to check my mailbox, which I don't do every day, but I probably should. Went down there to check my mailbox, and she was like, "Coach Rat, I think if you're going to keep being in the press box, we're going to need a higher fence, because like I don't know how the average high school press box is, but like ours is like you go up a ladder and you're on the roof basically, and we have like a fence around it." I said, "Well, why? What's wrong with it?" She said, "Well, at one point I looked up after like when somebody was because we hit like a touchdown, a receiver made a couple guys miss and went and scored or whatever." She said, "I looked up and you were up there and you were jumping up and down, but you were like standing on the fence." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She was like, "You looked mad." And I was like, "No, I wasn't mad. I was pretty happy. I was jumping up and down because I was excited." She was like, "Oh, okay, okay." So I mean, it's just like, when you get excited about it, it's just how it just comes out. I don't really know how else to put it.
Yeah. Charter says, I'm much more relaxed and calm now, but they know when I raise my voice that I'm at the point where it's time to start focusing better. 100%. And it's an attention getter, right? Yeah. And like you might be mad, you might not be mad, or hey, this is important. I need you to focus in, like stop bullcrapping, right? So like focus in. I've gotten louder. Plus it's a position of authority. Like you're gonna be louder too. So, and I use the word loud instead of yell. That's for parents. Parents are loud. Things are loud.
Yeah.
When you yell, it's negative. So
yeah. Didn't they talk about like voice fluctuation and teaching to help grab attention or whatever? Yeah. I honestly feel like I think like my players would probably say when I'm not yelling, it's probably bad. Like today at one point in practice, I was not yelling, and they were like, "Coach Rapp, are you good?" And I was like, "No, I mean, we were just kind of like we were walking through stuff, and because we got to get better in backfield as far as like pass and stuff like that. Anyway, we were walking through some stuff, and I was like, guys, like, how are we still messing this stuff up? And then we went to team after that, and the kids were like I'm like calling the play, and we started some new stuff. So I was trying to say it kind of quiet so the kids couldn't hear it and would see the signal. And they were like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" Like, "Well, you're not yelling right now." And I was like, "Well, it's not always me."
Yeah. Chris Laser, what's going on? Appreciate you coming on, hanging out. Yeah, 100%. But again, you're on bye. We play Saturday. Super motivated for this year. I don't know. Kind of has rejuvenated me, and not because winning all that stuff. Like that's a great part of it. Love it.
No question.
Who doesn't? But definitely rejuvenated for this season. Love it. But Coach, time for questions. Been thinking about them, right? And I have a football one. It's not football scheme or anything like that related, but
mine's kind of football too.
Yeah, so it has to do something with it. I think it's more of a fun type of deal. I tried to think of something that wasn't football related, but it kind of gets into the whole like dating questions, like, "Hey, would you rather do this versus that?" And it's like, whatever. But you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, let me go first just in case we have the same one.
All right, go for it.
All right, first job you took, college football 25, dynasty, what were you?
Okay. So I was OC. Yeah, I was OC NC State. It's pretty. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Now that was my first season. Like
I know.
and I only played that season that dynasty for a season. And the reason was because I thought it was very very easy.
Yeah.
I had KC Concepcion, man. Like he's a baller. So what I ended up doing is once Team Builder came out, I downloaded the Team Builder roster. It was Gardner Webb. I went to school.
Nice.
And I imported Gardner Webb, and it was like they were not good. They were like 60 overalls, but I built it up.
Love it.
Ended up becoming a playoff team. This is like years. Then I ended up I didn't win that. I won that championship. And it's probably like year 5, maybe. And I don't play every game. Like I sim a lot. So like, but I don't.
You can't do that.
No. So like, no. But like, I sim. If I lose, I lose. Right. So I don't restart a game. So
see, I play only offense.
I have done it before too. I do that. So, so I did that, and then ended up getting like really good, and I play all the rivalry games because I want that to go towards my recruiting and my coaching tree, all that stuff. And I obviously play the playoffs.
How do you determine which games you sim?
Like non-conference games that I'm gonna win. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna play FIU in the.
What if Trotter's the OC?
Yeah.
Well, it should have gone that way.
I can be honest with you. I didn't even look at the chat. I had no clue he said FIU. I just pulled that out of my hat. Anyway, it could be anybody, but the big games. But then I ended up winning that championship. Got a job offer to be the head coach of Michigan. And they were already rolling.
It was Webb to Michigan, huh?
It was so easy. Like
wow.
And I built Gardner Webb up, and throughout the whole rest of the seasons of playing through Michigan, Gardner Webb was like a top 25 team all the time, which is great. Wow. So that's cool on me. But grinding through the mud with a awful program because you're a 1-star.
Yeah.
Then you get to Michigan and they're whatever, like they're like 4.5, whatever, like it's right below the best, and you have like A+ everything. Yeah. It was cheating. Like it was, and I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. It's cheating because we're so good, and that kind of got boring. So now I have a legitimate dynasty with NC State, and I'm still this is still year 1, and I'm in the national championship. But I've played every game, so that's I haven't played. We've actually ironically played Michigan in the national championship. Haven't played it yet, but yeah, that's my journey. What about you?
Well, okay. So first job was OC at Liberty. Of course, because of their offense. Did that for a year. And I messed up because I was playing, was it Colorado in the national championship? Anyway, I got offered the OC job at Clemson. I think it was the OC. Yeah, I got offered the OC job at Clemson. Turned it down because I was trying to hold out for the OC job at Florida. Won the national championship, thinking that I was going to get another job offer. Never came. So I wound up being the OC year 2 at Liberty. Stopped playing that one. Started a new one as the OC at Air Force because I wanted to be like the lowest graded team in the game. Yeah. Obviously, the triple was a heavy reason why I did that. Anyway, so OC at Air Force. Then I got the head coaching job at Western Kentucky, and I think I'm like 2 games in now and haven't played it since football season started. So
haven't played it less. I try to hop on, every once in a while.
Yeah.
Charlie said he's the OC at FIU, and then he said he had one of the most 5-stars recruited in one class. So when I was at Michigan, I don't really be honest with you. I know I had the number 1 class a lot, but I can't tell you how many 5-stars. I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9, maybe double digits. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't honestly. I'd never threw my hat in the ring with 5 stars at Air Force. Uh, hopefully it doesn't go off of like real lifetime in the game, because if so, I definitely lost a couple 5 stars as the head coach of Western Kentucky. But you know, we're just out there trying to build a program at I don't even know where Western Kentucky is in Kentucky. I've been there before, but I don't remember
Yeah,
like
I don't know what town this is.
their stadium's pretty cool. We played them at ODU.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Western Kentucky. They're in Bowling. They're in Bowling Green.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, we went there.
So Bowling Green has 2 schools. That's kind of crazy.
I guess I don't know,
Whatever.
but the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. The reason why I took that job is because I've and I don't even know if that guy's still there, but I watched them. They played like a late night game a couple years ago, and I watched them. And 23, good God, Trotter.
Hey, get the NIL, man.
I was gonna say, are there any left for anybody else?
Were you still at FIU? Answer that question. Where were you at when you got the? I have to look at the picture.
There's no way you were at FIU.
Hey man, Florida.
Yeah. So I took that job because our offense was sweet, like the tempo and all that stuff. I mean, in real life.
Yeah.
But I get there, get to the first game, go out for the first offensive series, and we're running triple. And I was like, no way, this is awful. So that's part of the reason why I haven't played it in a while too.
He was the LSU, so that makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
All right, my question: if you could take for Clemens County, and I'm gonna take out NFL stadiums. If you could play in any state, you could take your team and play a game in any stadium. Where would you take them to play? I mean, and I honestly, you might say the Swamp, which I mean it's a great choice, but where would you take for Clemens and play a game?
Is this like okay? Well, this is going to be the majority of the question that I need to know before I answer.
I think you were just know what you were saying. But
is it sold out?
Yeah, sold out. I literally 100%. Yeah, it ain't the whole town of Perquimans sitting in one section. Like no, it is packed out. They're rooting for y'all, or it's split like 50-50, whatever. Yeah, it's sold out.
Goodness gracious. I mean I would say either Florida or Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been there, but my parents went to a couple Florida games at LSU, and they said that it was insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if I went to either one, a night game for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
Yeah. I think I would definitely choose like a big school, like an A&M. It's huge.
Yeah. I feel like Ohio State would be really sweet too.
Yeah, I mean like an Austin for Oregon.
Yeah,
just because of how loud it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
What I would say is maybe I don't really have like a thought of a certain one, but maybe one of the bigger high school stadiums in like Texas, because it's still kind of intimate.
Right.
Like where the fans are more kind of on you. Where it's not like like big old huge stadium and they're kind of way back and it's really loud. But I still want kind of like a high school feel. Like, hey, I can see the family right there. I can see, but it's still like 10,000 people. You know, something like that. Rocked out.
Hey, Rocky Top would be sweet.
Rocky Top would Rocky Top. Shout out Johnny Cut and his dad. They're big.
Josh
Big Falls fans.
Not a Vol fan, but big fan of that offense.
Yeah. That's one of my players. That's one of my players, by the way. Shout out to Aaron.
Love it.
I'll see him.
Good deal.
But yeah, man, love it.
That's a good question. I'm probably going to come up with another one. NC State's right up on you too.
Yeah.
When we played them at ODU, almost won, by the way. You know what they say about almost, but anyway, them people were like, it was like sideline, coach's box, like 3 feet fans. That stadium was sweet.
Yeah. So when we played the Flamers, I forget what year it was, Liberty. And one thing I can't stand those people. One thing I will say about Liberty fans is that they do homework.
Oh yeah.
So they and their student section is behind the away sideline.
Yeah.
So they'll just sit there and they're all for the most part Christians, right?
Oh.
So it's like not like it's over the top trash talk, but it's
Right.
funny stuff. Like they'll find you on Facebook and like random stuff you've done in your life, kind of like talk about it and like joke about it. It is funny.
Right.
We went to South Alabama when I was at Gardner Webb, and like those people were like, Gardner Webb, do y'all even have a graduate program? Like it's clever stuff like that. It's kind of like makes you laugh and you just keep.
Oh yeah. We I know like at ODU at least our basketball games in the student section, they would have pieces of paper on every seat with just like random stuff about people on the team.
Yeah.
I wonder if like more schools do that.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Because I know like they would have like when they did introductions, they would have like the kid's name and number and all that, and then something that everybody was supposed to say, like, whatever. But yeah, that, I mean, when teams actually like really know stuff about people or whatever, like that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. But all right, Coach. You got anything else for the folk before we let them go? Probably just wrap this one up.
I enjoyed it. We're gonna have to find another night to do another one.
Yep.
We start conference play next week, so looking forward to that. We got Washington County coming to town for our homecoming, even though we've only had one away game, but we only got 2 away games left, so enjoying it.
I gotta give a shout out. That's my left guard, Ethan May.
Got the whole squad coming up here, Coach.
Hey, I posted on Instagram, so I took a screenshot. I took a picture and I posted on Instagram. So that's probably where they all have flooded in now. But guys, go watch the replay if you want to on YouTube. But yeah, really, really blessed to have the players we do. Not just saying it because they're on here. I said it before. Yeah, getting into conference play on Saturday and gonna keep it rolling, man. But yeah, 100% gonna find out a time, a week we can do this again.
No doubt. No doubt.
Obviously, we get in the off season. We'll get back to doing it.
Oh yeah,
like I always say. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, boys, go get y'all some more wings this Saturday. Go take care of business.
And no doubt. Yes. No doubt.
Yeah. Well, any coaches watching, go tell your players you love them. And don't just say it, mean it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Guys, yeah, like Coach said, actually give a crap. Invest in your kids' lives, man. That's what I try to do. But until next time, don't know when that is, but until next time.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. For Coach Rapp, I'm Coach Tatum. It's the Counter Coach Podcast. We'll see y'all next time.